Hi you guys, my name is Tiara with Posts for the Events. I'm here at Party City today to show you how we're gonna do this, create this wonderful Halloween garland. So this is a little miniature project I've been working on to guide you guys through. It has the black, orange, and white. This is what we're going to need. We're gonna need about 18 balloons of each color, the 12-inch. We have white, black, and orange. We also have some 5-inch balloons just in case you want to fill in little holes at the end. But let's get started. We have the deco strip. You're going to want to measure probably about 10 feet, and we're going to cut it. I'm about 5 feet tall, so I just did it double width. Okay. Ideally, I would like to see everyone with their balloons pre-blown, but we'll talk you through the process. You're gonna begin by blowing up each color. So you don't wanna overinflate it. That looks overinflated. So I'm just gonna let some air out, tie it in a knot, wrap it around your 2 fingers, and pull through just a basic knot. And I have bags here. It's gonna be a lot easier to keep everything organized if you throw them in bags by color. And we're gonna blow up all the black ones first. Again, don't overinflate. Got it. You might have some pop in the process. That's okay. You're gonna have enough. Don't worry about it. I mean, I might even have some pop, and I do this all the time. Okay, we're gonna pull out the orange next. This one still looks a little bit overinflated. Just let some air out. You want to keep them rather round. I'll show you the difference. Not only that, you want to keep them round, but in a garland, you don't want to see this oval look. It looks a lot better when you keep them round, but they also are more durable if you keep them a little bit less inflated. So I find that when they're overinflated, they pop a lot easier. Let me tie this one. white. Okay, and as far as the 5-inch balloons, I save them until the last minute when after I put together the garland, so I can just fill the little holes with the 5-inch. You don't necessarily need them. I think it'll still turn out great, but these are just to add a little bit of flavor to the garland. White. Okay. We are going to move on to the cobwebs now that all the 12-inch balloons are blown up. Okay, we're going to take all of your black balloons. I like it better on black. It shows up more because the cobwebs are white. You can do them on any color you want, but I'm going to start with the black balloons today. So you're gonna start, and you can also just skip this process and add in the cobweb after you've hung it, but for the purpose of kind of showing you how it's gonna look, the end process, we're gonna add the cobwebs on now rather than later. You are gonna take a black balloon. You're gonna take the end of the cobweb, hold the balloon by the knots, and take the end of it and hold it in the hand like this, and you're gonna wrap it around the entire circumference of the balloon into one hand. So I'm left-handed, but we're gonna cut it just like that. Now, to make this a little bit easier, you really don't want a lot of extra cobweb at the end of this knot because it gets a little bit tricky when you're adding the black balloons in the deco strip. So I'm just going to separate it just a little bit, and then I'm going to cut right through in half. My scissors are a little bit sticky because I've been cutting double-sided tape with them. So hopefully your scissors are nice and clean. Oh, see? Okay, so now you have 2 strips. Basically, these are already measured for you. And you're going to take the ends of them and cut them almost at a diagonal, because what you really want is a nice little area to work with at these ends so that there's not excess cobweb when you're tying the knot. And this might get a little tricky. Don't worry, it's just cobweb. It'll end up looking nice at the end. So you take the 2 ends, wrap it around, just like we did before. And you're gonna sit it upright, tie it in a knot to hold it in place. Now, ooh, this was a bad cut job. So you're gonna start separating the cobweb. Okay, we're gonna start over on this one. I obviously didn't cut it very well. No big deal. We'll get rid of it. We're gonna start over. Okay, tie it in a knot. This might be the trickiest process of the entire garland. Don't get frustrated. Just start separating all the way around. I like to see that the cobweb's thin in some places, thicker in other places. It's really just like an organic look that you're trying to go with. Cobwebs are never even or perfect. So as you take each side, you just kind of tie it in a knot to secure it. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. And I just kind of start cutting off excess cobweb. So it's not thick right here at the end. Make sure that when you it's okay if the knot is the side of the balloon, as long as that's free, the knot. We're gonna do a couple with you because this is the trickiest part of the garland. Okay, again, take the knot in one hand, take the cobweb in the other, wrap it around the entire circumference, cut it, and then we're gonna make two. You can do this for every single black balloon or until you run out of the cobweb. It really doesn't matter. It's really about how you want your own garland to look. Again, cut the two ends into nice little points. Then begin the process again of separating it, pulling it down around the balloon towards the knot. So I'm going to take it at the knot again, pull these sides up, and just kind of find a little piece if you can to tie it in a knot to secure it. And I actually just covered up the knot right here, but I'm just gonna work through it and pull it right out so I can hang it on the deco strip. Again, wrap it around, tie it in a knot. We're going to begin separating. Flip it over. Take these little so see how right here it's empty. It's probably not going to show once you put the whole entire garland together, so it's not a big deal. Tie it in a knot. And let's see, I probably don't need to cut excess on this one. There's my knot right there. Try to keep the most excess cobweb near your knot because this is where you tie it in, and it'll cover as you add more balloons in the garland. This is probably not going to show as much, and at the end, if you see a lot of this showing, just stick a little 5-inch at the end. Okay. Let's just do 2 more of these because it is the trickiest process of the entire garland. I didn't separate it. two ends. Also, when you open up your bag of cobweb, you'll notice that in certain areas the cobweb's gonna look better, gonna work better. It's just the nature of the product. I noticed that this end right here, this is an end piece of the bag I had. It's getting a little, I guess, less webbed. Do you see? This one might not work, but we're gonna try it anyways. Okay, let's try this one. Up. Well, it did work, so. Let me see how much I can cut off without ruining my knot. We're gonna do one more. Okay, so now we're gonna begin the process of the deco strip. I did leave about 10 feet. Again, I'm 5 feet, so I just kind of took the length of my arms twice. And I'm gonna start adding the balloons in with a few inches of excess deco strip. This will be a lot easier to hang with because you can actually use the excess to either tie fishing line or ribbon, or even just take a little 3M hook, and if you're gonna use that to hang, and just hook it right on these little holes right here. So I'm gonna start with a few inches. And it does not matter how you place these, whatever pattern you wanna use. I like chunky look personally when I'm working with my organic garlands, but today we're gonna go with a pattern of white, orange, black, exactly like that. Repeat the process. So we're gonna take white, the knot goes through the hole, and you're gonna wanna pull the entire knot through the hole to give it a little bit more security, because as we add more balloons to the garland, sometimes they pop out, and that's okay. Sometimes you can put them back in through the hole and they'll stay, but I kind of have big hands here, so I can't actually get the balloon back in the hole, but I can skip the process if the balloon pops out and just add in a 5-inch or a smaller one. Okay. So another thing I found is if you actually flip it over, so see how the balloon is on the bottom side. I'm actually gonna take the next balloon and put it on the top so it's, also I would suggest skipping a hole, just one. It gets too tight if you do it through every single hole. So see how that is on top and the orange is on the bottom? Again, we're gonna flip it, and just kidding, it's already flipped. So now for the black cobweb, and I'm gonna take it through the hole. Pull it all the way through so the knot gets through. And I'm gonna go through the bottom side on this one. I know you guys really can't see when the process is actually being done. The balloons will just flip around, so it's kind of hard to show you how I'm doing it, but if I pull nice and tight, you can see that they're on opposite sides of each other. And even if you skip one, like let's say this orange is gonna be on the same side as the white one, no big deal. I'll just put it in there the same way so you can see. Okay, so we're gonna continue this process until the entire deco strip is covered. I'm gonna actually pull out this one because I've been working on it a little bit longer. So it looks like I need to go with orange next. And as we work, you can skip 2 holes if you want. Some of the holes are a lot smaller than, I think it goes every other one. There's a larger hole and a smaller one. As long as you can get the knot through, I would try to go through the smaller holes just to give it a little bit more security in there. But if your balloons are not popping out, then go with the larger ones. It sounds like I have a hole in one of these, so maybe by the end of the process, I'm gonna have a completely deflated hole, and I can just pull it right out and replace it with another balloon. And I think you guys have extra balloons for this garland, so just replace it with another one. And the black one. Again, I'm trying to pull it through on the opposite side of the previous balloon I already pulled through. So you don't necessarily have to physically flip it every time. Just try to keep track of which side you pulled it through. Oh, my skull fell off. Okay, I have to find the knot on this one. There we go. With the wet black ones, you might want to skip an extra hole because of this excess cobweb that's in there. It might get a little too thick to pull through if you're trying to pull through at every single hole. Oh, this knot's big. Oh, okay. Exactly what I was talking about. The black one did just pop through this hole. I'm not sure if you can see. I kind of ripped it a little bit, so I'm gonna find the next hole to pull through because it's just gonna pop right out again. And I hear another one deflating, so this has a hole in it. So I'm just gonna pull it right off and start over. For the sake of showing you what a garland would look like if you didn't use every single black one with cobweb, you can take a regular black one too. And you don't need to be rough with this deco strip to get the knots through. Work them through slowly if you need to. If you're having a hard time with the deco strips kind of tearing and popping through, just work a little bit slower. And so because I used a plain black one, I'm gonna use a cobweb next, and I'm going to repeat that pattern of every other one just to give it a little bit of pattern. But again, I mean, most of my work is all organic garlands, so it really doesn't need to be perfect. I love the idea of, you know, not so much pattern like, but kind of creativity or the creative look aspect of it. So this is a big knot. Let's see if it works. So now I'm going to use a plain black one. Okay, this knot was weird, so I'm gonna actually pull it a little bit tighter to even get it through. And if you're in the living room right now, and you have enough space, the bags of balloons are not necessary. You might go running after a few, but in the comforts of your own home, you can make a mess. I typically make a mess when I'm on site doing installs. And then see how this one just deflated on me? It happens with balloons. Don't get frustrated. It's part of the process. I'm just gonna dump it. And if you notice that some are deflating, just pull it right out of your garland. I know I mentioned earlier that I heard one kind of deflating over there, but it's a lot less frustrating if you pull it out right away than to have, than to have to go back and fix it. So let me turn this over. That's the one I was hearing deflate earlier, but I'll show you at the end what I'm gonna do. And it looks like I need to use a regular black one now. Again, work the big knots through slowly so you don't tear the deco strip extra more than it needs to be done. And we're probably gonna do about one more round of each. I'll take another cobweb at the end here. And we're gonna use one more orange. Okay. So I do have a little, I could probably do one more round with you. Let's do that. Let's just add one more round. And again, there are extra balloons, I believe, in your list of supplies. So that is for any of the balloons that are gonna pop, deflate, it happens. So I do have some extra, not too many extra. I think I have like 2 white left over. This will be the last one that I add to this. Oh, last one I can't get it through. Okay, look at that. Okay, so I want to show you, because I did change up the pattern a little bit, and I want to show you that it still looks good. Okay, so I did start with the beginning of my garland with every single cobweb, but I just, around halfway through, I wanted to show you that you can change the pattern. So I started doing every other one with cobwebs of the black, and I still think I think the pattern kind of shows all the way through. Now, back to this guy right here, this deflated orange guy. I'm gonna pull it out. And if you can, use the same size if your hands will let you work through. And add it back in right where it was, then great. But, see, I'm having a hard time. If you can't, we're gonna I was gonna suggest we can use a 5-inch or not, but it looks like I was able to get it through. I did use a different hole that time because that original hole was stretched out and it's just gonna pop out of the deco strip again. So I was able to find another hole. So when you hang, you have plenty on each side. Again, they don't sell 3M hooks at Party City. Technically I use them, or fishing line if you want to hang it on. Let's see. I could literally hang it with fishing line on to some, like a stairwell. You don't need those hooks. You literally just hang it from the staircase. And let me go in and show you these 5-inch balloons. Okay, I'm just gonna do, I'm not sure what you guys are using. You can use a hand pump for these, or if your machine allows you to if your machine has a small nozzle, that's ideal. It's really hard to wrap these smaller ones around. Let me turn it off real quick. Okay, it's hard to okay, so you have your little 5-inch. I do suggest hanging this first because if you want it to kind of, I call my balloon shaped swags. I always call them swags. So they're gonna swag, like let's say it's swagging off the table and you have it hung up there. You'll see certain areas as you look at it where you can add those 5-inch balloons. So let me just, because my hand's here, I have a little bit of extra space in this hole. So what I'm gonna do is take the 5-inch and pull it right through one of these extra holes that I have. And that'll just cover up the space. And maybe you have excess cobweb showing in your garland the way you hang it. You can just cover it up by adding one of these little 5-inch balloons. So there you have it. This is our festive Halloween balloon garland. If you guys have any questions, I'm going to be with you as you're watching and answering any lifetime questions you have. But there it is. Thank you.